Device. And does that work now? Hey, look, my audio capture device is showing something on it.
Okay.
Can you all hear me now?
Sorry, y'all.
That only took like 5 minutes to figure out the audio wasn't working. I told some really cool stories too. Actually, Instagram I think caught all of it because it's on a different mic set.
Yep.
Because that's what we have going on now. Is we have a crazy number of devices that you can't see because you're behind the camera where all the devices are. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying at the beginning, thank you all for tuning in to our show where we experiment with new technology, and we're like several bits of new technology we're working on this evening, and there's a live watch party. There you go. And basically we're figuring it out as we go along. The virtual tastings have really taken off. They're a thing. We're getting like 3 and 4 inquiries a day. Some weeks we're doing like 7 virtual tastings. Thursdays are sold out. Just Thursdays are sold out now.
No, there's 1 week in the middle of September.
That's true.
And further into October.
Yes.
Don't say sold out when we're not 100%.
They're not. But
there are several days where we cannot add another.
Yes. Yes. If you call up and you're like, hey, I want to do an event on a Thursday in 3 weeks, the answer is probably no, because we probably have like 200 of them going on that day. Maybe not 200, but you get the point. The point is Thursdays are a really big day for virtual bourbon tastings, which is the thing. Which is why we have to play with the technology like we're doing in tonight's show. So are we actually ready to get started?
Yes.
All
okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Yay,
Usually, like, it's been months since I've like been that bad, and we're this late. I know it is at 9:15 at this point, and yeah, it's just been a long week. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Also, for those of you who couldn't hear me before, because I was going to tell you this, this new setup that we have, we just realized we can't see the chat in the Facebook live stream, but we can see it in the watch party.
Sort of, because I actually put it on another device.
Oh, all right. She's got to figure it out. See, this is like every time. There's no way to like really test this, all of this crazy technology that we're constantly upgrading every single week, unless we actually do a show with it. And we can't do that with one of our paying clients that we have, these corporate clients that we're doing like 80-person virtual events and stuff. So this is what this show is for. And also to drink cocktails and make cocktails. So now we're going to get started. Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Sorry.
Hi, my name is Tim Niddle with Distilled Living. Welcome to Crazy Cabin Fever Cocktails, episode very large number, produced by
37.
Fascination Design. There it is, episode 37. Okay, so I kept talking about the virtual tastings that we've been doing a lot of, which are really fun, and we're doing about as many mixology as we are bourbon tastings. And for one of the mixology ones, our event client, their client, corporate client, wanted to do Lillet. And want to do a cocktail that will use some Lillet. So we have this much left over. So we wanted to figure out what to do some stuff with it. We've been experimenting with it a little bit, and you can see how little we've actually used up. So Lillet is categorized as an aromatized wine. I had to look that up. It's not a thing that we get a lot of in the U.S. It's much more popular in Europe. Basically, it's a very complicated, like infused flavored wine. So it starts with a really high quality wine. They add other things, herbs, spices. They can actually also add something that I don't know how to pronounce because it's French. It's spelled Quina. Quina? I don't know. Somebody can correct me on that. Which is basically like either a brandy or neutral spirit. So it's a distilled product that is in itself infused with stuff, especially like a bittering agent like chinoa bark or something like that, which is put back in here. I also think there's a little bit of sweetener in here based on how this tastes. So this is a complicated, infused, very special, highly proprietary 7 herbs and spices kind of recipe to that. And it's really interesting. You can drink it kind of like an aperitif, but also it actually makes a really good complex mixer. But it doesn't play the same way that anything else that we've worked with on this show for 36 prior episodes. 36 prior episodes?
Yeah. Today's 37.
Today's 37. Has been. So, like, we've talked a lot about basic cocktail theory. This is kind of like a little step up, a little advanced step up. So, we're making the most famous cocktail that uses this, which is Corpse Reviver number 2. I don't know what happened to Corpse Reviver number 1. It didn't work out. So, I'm starting with chilling my coupe. This is going to involve the Lillet, the last little bit of gin that we have.
Technically not the last. We actually have some rabbit hole. I'm a little concerned that I'm not going to be able to buy another rabbit hole gin though.
Yeah, I think they've discontinued it, which is very sad. And orange liqueur and lemon juice, fresh squeezed lemon juice, and the absinthe. And instead of working off of a heavy base spirit in terms of volume, and like doing 2 ounces of gin like we'd start with and maybe a 1.5, this is a 1-1-1-1 cocktail. So 1 part of each of these, that's actually going to be 3/4 of an ounce, but it's going to these, none one of these is your major base. Even though your gin is the highest proof, we're bringing that down to give equal weight to the other things that we have on the table. Another 1-1-1 is a paper plane, which is another famous cocktail. And obviously, since we're working with fresh juice, we're going to wind up shaking this. So first thing I'm going to do is roll my lemon so that I get some decent juice out of it. I did not get myself a knife. I know I missed something. I even had a thought. I need to get a knife. Thank you, thing. All right, so move some stuff so you can see what I'm doing. I cut that the wrong way. Look, I'm having an interesting day today. All right, saving that for cocktail number 2. Try this one. There we go. This is these are nice, really aromatic fresh lemons. And I think I can get away with just squeezing 1/2 of one. Obviously, lemon juice is my cheapest ingredient, so that's what I'm going to start with. I'm not using any bitters or anything, so I can actually hold off on putting the ice in there as long as I'm into the shaker, as long as I'm careful not to splash later. It's a lot of seeds happening here that I don't want to get too much down in there. Oh, well, I got a little bit. I'll double strain that later to make sure to get rid of those seeds. What am I doing? See, I'm trying to talk through this, and what I needed to do was show you the measurements as I go along. So this is going to be 3/4 of an ounce. Yep, see the seeds go through? It's going to be all right. 3/4 of an ounce. And then I'm going to start adding my other ingredients in roughly order of least expensive to most expensive, because there's an equal part of all of them. So 3/4 of an ounce. This is our favorite house dry orange liqueur, dry curacao. We've used this before on the show. It's really delicious stuff. Plymouth Gin is the gin that we've been getting into recently. It's been hard to keep consistent on any of the gins that we've really liked. They keep being discontinued or hard to get. Come on, I'm like 4 drops shy. It's close enough. Yeah, or really, really specialty, like the generous gin that we go through by the case, is not available in every single store, which is Illinois. And then 3/4 of an ounce of my Lillet. This smells very sweet, very floral. Some citrus character to it.
But it's still sort of like a white. It has a white wine quality to it too.
It does. It's
like a
crisp.
Sauvignon Blanc?
Definitely like a Sauvignon Blanc. It's also only 17% alcohol, so as much as this is a little bit fortified and aromatized, this is not nearly over 20 or 25% like you're going to get into in your vermouths and your sherries and stuff. So it will spoil a little bit more quickly. Keep it chilled, serve it chilled, use it up a little bit faster.
Absinthe? Where's that coming?
Absinthe is is rinsed via glass.
Okay.
At least that's how I make this drink.
Just clarifying for everybody.
Yeah.
Since you did mention it.
I did mention it, and I haven't used it, and I have occasionally completely forgotten about ingredients that I'm supposed to be using. So, yeah. So Hillary is reminding me about what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, or asking.
Got a lot of chip ice down in here that I don't want to get in my glass or in my shaker because it's going to over dilute. I don't want that. I want the big pieces of ice.
And since we're at home, it's totally fine that he's just
yeah, I'm not going to do that in a bar setting. But I'm going to drink this myself, so there. No, I didn't get the shaker that I thought I got. Okay. You see that frosting up real nicely? Yeah. This would be a fun one to put an egg white into. Froth it up. Okay. So now I have my combination of things. Shaken, chilled, diluted, all the pieces. Now I'm going to do an absinthe rinse, just like you would do for a Sazerac. Ooh, that was way much more absinthe than I had to put in there.
Shot glass to like rinse it out.
I'm just gonna drink it. So literally, this is, and remember, this tastes like black jelly beans. So we basically have black jelly beans, orange jelly beans, yellow jelly beans. We have like this drink is like a handful of jelly beans. That's what it is. All right. Because I got some solids in there, because I have the seeds. I'm definitely gonna double strain this.
Normally with an absinthe rinse, you put just like a tiny bit into the cup and swirl it around, and you have any left kind of hanging out at the bottom, you just simply dump that the last bit. Or use a sprayer if you want to spray the glass with a sprayer and have something fancy.
Sprayers are way better, because then you don't make a mess like I just effectively made and wasted a bunch of product. If I was making this in a bar setting, that would be a total no-no, because there was so much absinthe that went in there. But it was tasty. And there we have something. And you know what? I'm gonna do a little twist. Just because it looks a little plain, and I want to just put a little something in there to give it a little interest. Oops, fell all the way in. It's all right. You can see actually it's got a really good texture on it. And it's a little bit cloudy and hazy. That's okay, because the absinthe is actually clouding up a little bit. And we did use a juice, which is why we shook it. That is fantastic. Oh. No one element overwhelms. Everything is in perfect harmony and perfect balance. It's sweet, it's sour, it's bright, it's aromatic. Like, it is just fantastic. The name, as Corpse Reviver number 2, as you know, you would imagine, this is the breakfast of choice after a night of overindulgence. There's a whole series of cocktails through, especially the mid-part of the 1800s, that were really built around being hair of the dog hangover cures. Obviously, they don't work, but people try them anyway. So it was a really popular style, and that's really, really good. Now Hillary has it, and she's taking it away from me. So that was our first one. Used the classic Corpse Reviver number 2 using the Lillet. Now we're going to do one. We were experimenting with it. We came up with a recipe. Then we found a recipe online. We kind of merged them all up. Man, that was like the finish on that is so long. I can still taste it. It's like all the best parts of a lemonade without being overly sweet, but having this beautiful depth underneath it. It's absolutely fantastic. It goes down super easy too. So I am going to make this variant kind of combination things, and I'm going to be working with bourbon, because we wanted this to be a bourbon show occasionally. And I'm working with 3 contrasts. So I'm going to be using the lemon, bitters, and mint. So this is starting almost like a traditional old-fashioned, but instead of using a standard sweet ingredient, I'm going to use the Lillet, and then I'm going to twist this up a little bit, give it a greater contrast by adding in some mint. So I have 2 mint sprigs here. I've got the one that I'm going to leave in the glass, and actually I'm going to pull off a couple of leaves that I don't like the look of. And then I'm going to take, I'm actually going to stir this. So I'm going to build this a little bit differently than I would normally build kind of any other kind of cocktail. I'm going to take the leaves off of this one. And I'm probably going for about 5 mint leaves. Just, these are really aromatic. If I go any more than that, it's not going to work. And then I'm going to do, like we've done recently, I did a martini with this technique. I'm going to put my lemon peel down into the ice along with my mint. I'm not shaking this. I'm actually stirring this because all of the liquids at this point are going to be clear liquids. I don't have any solids like I would get in a fruit juice. And then I'm going to do 1 dash of Angostura. So I have basically, ooh, that was a heavy dash. I basically have all of the primary contrasts that you would see. I don't quite have as much acid as I would have using a sour like a lemon juice, but I have the lemon zest that's going to bring up something similar. And then I'm going to do 1.5 ounce of each of these. So again, I'm back in that 1-to-1 territory, which we haven't seen a lot of on this show. All right, my 1.5 in the Lillet. We actually haven't tried this cocktail yet. This is an experiment, but it's theoretically good. For your signature, kind of our house bourbon right at the moment. This is going to be a nice sweet bourbon, with a little bit of spice character. It should really complement the Lillet in terms of being similar flavor profiles and not bringing out too much heavy contrast. And then I'm going to stir this. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to push the mint leaves and the lemon zest down to the bottom, and then I'm going to spin it. And Hilliard did a great episode recently on stirring technique and different types of bar spoons. I'll just push it down a little bit more. You notice I put in the bitters before I put in the other two ingredients. That is especially important in a cocktail like this where I'm stirring over ice. It's called bittering the ice, because if I had put in one dash of bitters at the end, once I already had liquid that's comes up over the ice, is that there's a risk that it would sit on top and wouldn't properly integrate. Especially if I wasn't messing with my spoon as much, if I was literally just dropping the spoon in there and spinning it around. And the Lillet actually plays a little bit nicer than like a sweet vermouth or a dry vermouth. It doesn't take quite as much effort to get it to integrate. This is not one of these things that you're stirring for minutes to get it to work out. And, oh shoot, I meant to grab even more ice and I forgot.
Oops.
So normally this would be on crushed ice, which I don't have right at the moment.
I don't know if I can reach.
I don't think she can reach it. Nope, that's not going to happen. Wait, maybe. There we go. That's good enough. So I didn't get out the list bag and mallet. So I'm just going to put it over a little bit of ice. I might even fish out a little bit of ice from my glass here. All right, so pour this over the top. This has got enough mint in it that I'm not going to slap the the mint sprig that's in there, because I can really smell it coming off of that. This is what I'm doing right now. It's called a dirty dump. Where I am actually going to use some of the ice that I just used, just because I want to top this off. And I want to bring the whole thing up to a good level. And then I like this to be with a straw. I don't know why, I just felt like this should have a straw. And you know what? Let's even garnish it up a little bit more.
I thought we were topping this with sparkling water.
Oh, I forgot about the sparkling water.
Is that why you added a whole bunch of ice?
That is, because I forgot about the sparkling water top.
It's sitting right
Let's
there.
do... I'm going to do a little wedge. I feel like putting a wedge on it. And then topping it with sparkling water. And then because my sparkling water is now sitting on top, I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir with the straw to get it to integrate. Go back. Put my wedge back on there. Voila. That's actually a pretty good, freaking good looking drink, right? I like that. I like how it turned out. See how it tastes.
And as always, we'll adjust the recipe as needed and put the recipe online.
Oh, that's really good.
The Old Forester I want to point out is 100 proof, which is part of the reason we chose the 100 proof is it really holds well when you're doing something like a highball or something that you're going to top with sparkling water, because you have a higher proof to start with, and the flavor kind of is a good flavor combo on that.
This is a beautiful light summer drink. Like it's cutting it down, using the higher proof and then cutting it down with the sparkling doesn't wipe it out entirely like Hilliard's describing. It keeps it some potency there, but it's light and delicate on the palate and just a little bit of bubbles. That is really nice and refreshing. That is a great like Sunday afternoon on a hot day kind of drink. It is the polar. You're gonna try it. It is the polar opposite of the Corpse Reviver. So the Corpse Reviver is super intense, concentrated. You're drinking it down in just a few sips probably to get yourself going in the morning. Even though it's got a great easy flavor profile, it's super intense, whereas this one is super light.
It has more orange blossom kind of flavor to it. A lot more of the Lillet's characteristics actually come out in this particular drink, nice. More so than the Corpse Reviver. Yeah. I'm happy with how that turned out.
Not too sweet. I mean, we're not at sweet tea or lemonade level sweetness, which is so much nicer.
Several of the recipes I kept seeing included additional like simple syrup or honey syrup or something like that on top of the already sweet Lillet. And every time I looked at them, I know Tim doesn't like a lot of sugar, but even so, I was looking at them and going, "That's a really sweet drink." So this is a good balanced drink. It's
It
not
would be
overwhelming.
easy to drink quickly, which is nice that it's tall, so you don't drink it too quickly, because that is an ounce and a half of each of these. But that is a super refreshing drink on a hot day. Yeah, maybe for this weekend. That's a good one. We'll revisit since we've got. Look at how much Lillet we have left. Like that's and it doesn't stabilize nearly as well as like a vermouth does. So we'll be using that up.
So as always, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesdays, we're going to continue Crazy Cabin Fever cocktails. Recipes will go online after. We did have something that we were going to try to do tonight, but that's not going to happen because I changed out some stuff But we might put an additional video on later because we have something we wanted to record and include with this tonight. So keep an eye out. We might do something kind of midweek, maybe a couple days from now or something like that. Upload kind of thing instead of live.
She says midweek. It's Wednesday. We realize it's Wednesday.
Fine.
But we work on the weekends because that's when you do virtual bourbon tastings. So this is midweek. Later in the week will be midweek for us. Yes. Saturday midweek. Yeah, and any ideas that you have, we actually we have some ideas that we're tossing around that we have to buy some specialty ingredients for, but we want to push that together. And then we do actually have our first sponsored and requested show coming up later this month, which we're really, really excited about.
Do we know what the date is on that?
It will be it'll be the second to last Wednesday of the month, so like the 20th?
Are you sure it's the second last? Is it supposed to be the Wednesday before?
It's the Wednesday before Derby. So it's like the August 27th, I think.
Okay.
What day is today?
12th, I think.
So next would be the 19th, 26th. So we should be looking at that because that'll be like 10 days before New Derby.
We'll put that one on the calendar because we know it's a sponsored one. We know kind of what we're doing on that one.
And Derby, it looks like it's going to happen. They made the announcements today, so it's very, very cool. 14% capacity, which is really interesting, which means that 100,000 people won't be going. So they're all going to be sitting at home making their own cocktails. So we're going to help them out with that.
Cool.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Cheers. That's really freaking good and easy to drink. Like you have to tell people that has alcohol in it because it is so nice. It's just